Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into it.
Volkswagen is the largest German automobile concern. The head office of this concern is located in Germany, in Wolfsburg. This company was organized in 1937. The company actively began to develop in the post-war years. Initially, cars were produced only on the territory of Germany, and today this concern includes 342 companies that are engaged not only in the production of cars, but also provides services related to the maintenance of cars. VW Group includes today Bugatti, Skoda, Audi, Bentley, Seat, Lamborghini, and companies producing trucks MAN and Scania. The most productive years in the development of the concern were the 70s. It was at this time that such models as Golf and Passat entered the market. Today the concern owns 48 automobile assembly plants, which are located in Europe, 15 countries, and in Asia, America, Africa, 6 countries. Sale of cars produced here is carried out in more than 150 countries around the world. Volkswagen's work in Russia. In May 2006, the concern signed an agreement on the beginning of work in Russia, and in 2007 began to assemble cars near Kaluga. At first, only large unit assembly of a small number of models was carried out. To date, the range of models assembled in the Russian Federation is constantly expanding, which is facilitated by the opening of new facilities at the GAZ plant in Nizhny Novgorod, where Volkswagen Polo is assembled. Volkswagen Polo. This car is one of the most popular models produced by the concern. This fact is evidenced by the huge number of sales around the world, which grows every year. This is a relatively inexpensive, but very high-quality car. This model is produced in 2 variants, hatchback and sedan. The car with a hatchback body is produced only for Europe and is assembled in Germany. In the Russian market, Volkswagen Polo is sold only in the variant, sedan. Assembly of this car is produced in the territory of our country. The plus of Volkswagen Polo sedan is the fact that it was developed exactly for our market. The car body was maximally approached to the appearance of its European counterpart, and at first glance it is quite difficult to determine who is who. The car received slightly larger dimensions, which only pleased its buyers. The salon, too, resembles a European hatchback. Fans of this model note that the engines on them are only German. The manufacturer simply does not have others. In our factories, the motor for 1.6 liters is simply mounted in the vehicle. The transmission is also only of European manufacture, and the buyer can choose between a 5-speed manual or a 6-speed automatic. Specialists note that the Russian assembly compares favorably with others. This is because the car was specially adapted to our far from ideal operating conditions. Read also, where the production of legendary Mercedes cars is located where the Volkswagen Tiguan is assembled. Volkswagen Tiguan is a fairly new SUV in its class. This vehicle was designed on the basis of a Golf platform. As a result, not every factory can produce its assembly. The most modern are the production facilities of Germany and France, but to us in the country, Tiguan from these countries gets only in isolated cases. For Russia, this SUV is produced at the plant in Kaluga, where there is a very modern assembly line. Human work here is reduced to a minimum, and specialists have only the highest qualifications. In favor of the domestic assembly of Volkswagen Tiguan, says that the car is somewhat adapted to our conditions. The ground clearance is increased. The model is characterized by increased reliability. This is due to the fact that the factories have a very strict quality control. At the slightest defects, the vehicle is subject to redesign. Even those car enthusiasts who are skeptical of the domestic assembly cannot note that in the Tiguan there is not a hint of unreliability. Where Volkswagen Jetta is assembled. The new modification of the Volkswagen Jetta is produced in Russia and Mexico. Both variants come to our car market, but the Mexican assembly usually costs a little more expensive. Both production facilities have the most modern equipment, and almost 70% of the parts for assembly are delivered from Germany. Choosing between the countries of manufacturers, you should always take into account the fact that Mexico produces cars designed for excellent European roads, and the climate in Europe is much milder than in our country. Jetta, in Russia, like most cars of the Volkswagen concern, are produced at the Kaluga automobile plant. This model has undergone a number of changes to meet the needs of Russian drivers. Engineers have developed a purely Russian concept line configuration. It can have two types of transmissions, 5-speed manual and 6-step, a full set of safety, audio system, power steering, electric drive and air conditioning. The Russian version is equipped with a special winter package, namely heated mirrors, seats, and washer nozzles, as well as a spare tire. Thus, choosing between Mexican assembly and domestic preference is better to give still ours. Where Volkswagen Golf is assembled. Volkswagen Golf is rightly considered the most successful model of the concern and stands in third place by the number of sales in the third place. It is this car became the ancestor of such a popular today Golf class. As well as most models of the concern, it has undergone as many stages of updating. The latest Volkswagen Golf model was introduced to the market in 2013. In Russia, it appeared already at the end of the same year. For those who care about the country of assembly, will be interesting to know that the 7th generation of this model is assembled only in Germany. In Russia, this model was also assembled, but only the 5th model, in the city of Kaluga. Read also, features and advantages of reinforced brake hoses for the car. The 7th generation is characterized by the fact that the cars became more economical and cheaper, and at the same time lighter and faster. This car is among the safest vehicles in its class. Where the Volkswagen Passat is assembled. Volkswagen Passat, this model can satisfy even a very demanding driver. Here especially clearly combines German quality, comfort, and modernity. The Volkswagen Passat is produced naturally in Germany, Malaysia, and China. Until 2010, this model was also assembled in Russia, in Kaluga. In our country, new Passats officially come only from Germany, but if you buy one from hand, you can also get a car of domestic assembly. Interesting is the fact that in Germany it takes 48 hours to fully assemble a car, which indicates the maximum debugging and automation of the process. Also draws attention to a very strict system of control, in which the car with even small problems is almost impossible to leave the assembly line. Where Volkswagen Touareg is assembled. This model has undergone 2 generations. The car has its target audience, middle-aged men who have a fairly high status, engaged in business and prefer reliability and comfort in cars. The cost of the last generation starts from $2 million in the base version. This midsize crossover looks strictly and moderately aggressive. Manufacturers have paid much attention to the equipment of the car and its economy. The debut of this model took place in 2002. Today in Russia you can buy Volkswagen Touareg assembled in Bratislava or Kaluga. Commercial vans and minibuses assembled in Russia. Family minivan Caravel, minibus multivan, and van transporter. These vehicles are very much in demand for municipalities and various organizations. In addition, the cars are also positioned as family cars. These models in the latest generation are characterized not only by improved technical characteristics, but also by a fresh design and better interior decoration. These cars are produced in Germany and Poland. Assembly of cars of this lineup has also begun at the Russian plant in Kaluga. In the event that there is a purchase of a new car, should not dwell on the country in which the assembly was made. Volkswagen is very attentive to the quality of the vehicle coming off the assembly line and will not tolerate reputational losses. Quality control is exactly the same in all countries of the world, although the choice is always up to the buyer. In conclusion, Volkswagen's global presence is reflected in its extensive assembly operations across various countries. From Germany to Mexico, Brazil, and beyond, the brand has established a strong manufacturing footprint to meet the demands of diverse markets. This strategic approach not only enhances local economies, but also allows Volkswagen to adapt to regional preferences and regulations. As the automotive landscape continues to evolve, it will be interesting to see how Volkswagen expands its assembly operations and embraces new technologies in the years to come. Thank you for watching, and we hope you gained valuable insights into the global assembly of the Volkswagen car brand.